Welcome to Bugema University, where students and faculty alike face a common challenge, coursework stress. University is located in Well District, Bugema Village, Gayazazlowe Road. At Bugema University, coursework is more than just assignments. It is a source of stress for many students. For lecturers, managing coursework can be a balancing act of academic rigor and student.
Bugema University, excellence in service.
Students at Bugema University describe coursework stress as overwhelming and relentless. Many students struggle to find a balance between coursework, extracurricular activities, and personal life. Students at Bugema University describe coursework stress as overwhelming and relentless. Many students struggle to find a balance between coursework, extracurricular activities, and personal life.
The challenging aspects of coursework at Bugema University. Challenging aspects of coursework at Bugema University. 1. We have expensive courseworks. Here, you find that the lecturer gives you the coursework that is even beyond half of your tuition. Remember, most of us struggle with paying tuition. So if the lecturer gives too much coursework to the extent that the money you're going to use to do the coursework is more than half of your tuition, that means that is a challenge itself, because you will be suffering with paying the tuition and then you're suffering with the coursework. So that's a challenge. Then the next challenge is grading, whereby you find the lecturer gives little marks compared to the efforts you put in. I have an experience of a certain course unit which I did everything. The work was expensive, the work was much, but the grading didn't satisfy me. So that is a challenge because it makes someone to lose morale. You feel like you're doing nothing, yet you put in effort. So that's a challenge at Bugema University. Another thing is about the period. Some lecturers don't mind about the period they are giving the work. They expect as if you have only that course unit, whereby you have many course units to do. You have many course units and you're given assignments in those course units. So if the lecturer doesn't give you enough time to do that work, that becomes a challenge because you're going to be packed up. You're not going to have time to rest. And resting is part of life because you can't do work every time when you're not resting. It can even damage your brain. Another problem of coursework is that aspect whereby the lecturer doesn't teach. There are some lecturers, they come to class, immediately they give courseworks, whereby that lecturer has not even taught anything. They just tell you go on YouTube, go on those social media accounts whereby they are tutors, not minding about the data you're putting on, not minding about the network, because most of the times network is unstable. So if the lecturer doesn't teach and that lecturer gives coursework, just comes in class and give you coursework, it becomes a problem because you have nothing in head. You have nothing to top on. These social media accounts are good, social media platforms are good, but they require something. When you have something and you're just topping up. So if you're blank, at times you don't even, you lack skills, you lack knowledge.
The most challenging aspect of Bugema University in terms of coursework is when the lecturer gives me coursework when he or she did teach. In most cases, the lecturers who always don't teach us, they give us this kind of coursework which is very hard sometimes we have to put in our money, putting that aside, we also have to put in our time. So you'll be reaching the time of examinations. When you don't have the coursework, you have to get money, you have to look for other exams and other papers. So I find it sometimes hard during that aspect to catch up with the coursework, catch up with the examinations, to get some money to fund me when I'm doing that coursework. And another thing is when the lecturer gives me the coursework, mostly in most cases, the practical coursework, when I'm going to try it out. For example, me as a journalist, I'm doing journalism at school. We always have the tutorials from YouTube where we can see where we can some tutorials teaching us about software. But it's not so prior to us. Then when the lecturer comes to the class and tells you let's do this, you your laptop, what he or she does is what you do. Some lecturers just give us down, I need like 10 clients. When they come and give you some knowledge about it, you just go on YouTube. The YouTube people always know that they are teaching people who know something. Like for us, sometimes we don't know anything.
Okusomozebwa kwenfunye kwe kuno wammanga ekisookera ddala lecturer ayinza oba wa coursework naye nga teyabasomesa oba talinawo abayitiddemu ne weesanga nga coursework ono olina okusooka ate naawe okusooka okunoonyereza ennyo okole coursework ono. So kibeera kizibu nnyo okukola coursework ono mu budde kubanga lecturer amukuwadde talina kyakuyitiddemu, akuwaddemu coursework kyentegeeza tasomesezza.
As a journalism student, to reduce my workload, I schedule myself. I always know that every day on my timetable, I put there a course unit that I'm going to read throughout the day. That if at all I have coursework also, I work on it. In other words, I make sure that every day I get a course unit, I do the coursework. If at all I have assignments, I do them. If I have like tutorials to watch, I watch them, like in Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Audition, InDesign, and many other softwares. It depends on the course unit they give. Like in other course units which are theoretical, what I do, I make summaries so that during the time of exams, I get that summary. It's very easy for me to read.
To manage this workload or coursework problems, I do not rest. I don't get time for resting. What do I mean? Because most of the time when you get too much time to rest, that means you're not going to complete the work, of which the work is much. So most of the time is on weekends. I don't even do anything at home. Because everyone who tells me do this, I'm going to tell that person I'm busy with work. And the next thing, on Sunday I'm a Christian. I don't go to church because I have to finish all the work, and the work is on timetable. So if I don't complete it, no marks. So which means I don't get time to rest when I'm doing my assignments. And most of the times I complete the whole semester. Like when I'm not settled, I have to do everything in time.
Okumanaginga obudde obwa coursework n'emirimu gyange nkikola bwe nti nkeera nnyo kati nyinza okera ku ssaawa nga 10. Bwe nkeera ku ssaawa ezo zennyini naye mbanga bwe wa coursework sooka ne ndi searchinga, ngenda ku mutimbagano ne searchinga ne ntandika okukola coursework, then ne ndyoka ngenda emirimu gye mba ngenzeeko okukola. Oba olumu nebaka late kiro sanga 8, 7 nga wenoonyereza coursework. Oluusi kineetagisa n'okuteekamu ate ssente endala okufuna abamunkolerako okuba kati ngezo bba nawe mba sisobola kola kikwasaganya nzekka. So nteekamu ssente ze mba nfunyeeko etonotono ne ntetenkanya nefuna omuntu nze nga namaze dda okukola soft copies ezo bibanga baana nenjimuwa nafulumya baana yenyini gyemba nyina okuwaayo.
In my capacity, I've really tried to look for some help about this work because sometimes we even lose funds. We don't have funds and we don't have the things they give us. I've gone to the Dean of Students, but the Dean of Students directed me to the SOD where I went with a friend. You had to first write a letter because you have to be with a writer, which you show up there, you put there your signatures, the complaint you have, because the letter is always a letter of complaint. We took it there to complain about the lecturers, some lecturers who didn't teach us, and they always give us a lot of work to do. We have workloads, we have practical works to do. You don't know anything about this, but the lecturer needs the work, and if I don't need something, you're not going to get it. So for now, we are still waiting for the feedback, but on what we are seeing, it's being worked on.
Yeah, I tried to look for support or solutions from the people responsible for that, but I didn't got helped. Though they told me it's not ethical to give expensive courseworks. But after there, I got no hope. I just had to suffer with my coursework stress.
Olumu baana ne batuwa coursework nga wa bbeeyi nga yenna omukola coursework oyo yali $30,000. Akwaliko baana, posters, stickers, business cards, ebintu nga bingi nnyo. Ne twekubira enduulu ewa head of department. Ne head of department yeesuulirayo gwa nagamba teyatuyamba. Tetwakola ne tukolako bye twali tusobodde. Twakolako stickers ebyali bitwala ssente ntonotono. Naye lecturer oyo ate n'agaana okuteekayo marks zaffe. Lecturer oyo yagaana okuteekayo marks zaffe. Ne tugenda ewa diini. Diini n'agamba ensonga zaffe agenda zikolako. Era naye kyataakola. Kye twakola ne tweyongera mu offices endala. Naye nga tusiwa nsaano ku mazzi. Tebyatuyamba. Era kye twakola.
Coursework stress affects my well-being in that I don't get time to rest, and any normal person has to rest. If you don't rest, that means your health is at stake. Then the next thing, academically, I don't get time to revise books, and of which I have to prepare for exams. So if I spend all that time doing courseworks, that means I'm not going to get time to prepare, and that affects my performance in that I didn't do enough revision. So it affects my grades in the final exams.
Obuzibu bwenfuna nfuna obuzibu bwa stress. Stress olwoyingira mu klaasi nga wenna weeralikidde toconcentratinga na bulungi mu lectures ennyininyini kubanga oba weeralikira coursework ono. So bw'amaanyi nnyo ddala. Ne boogenda mu pepa era oba weeralikira banafuna marks mmeka lecture oba kyeki bagamba weeralikirira paka bw'okoma mu semester endala n'olyokolako ku marks zo naye nga oba okyali mu kweralikirira okw'amaanyi ddala nnyo.
This has really affected me during my examinations. There is a time when I reached the paper, when I had to enter the paper when I'm crying. I had paid for the work, but the guy who was doing the work was very late. So I had to enter the paper when I'm crying. So just imagine that scenario. You enter the paper when you're crying. I didn't even have the guts to remember what I had read. It was very hard for me. But I did the paper and I'm still waiting for it.
Kiyinza oviirako omuntu n'okufuna okulwala obulwadde bw'omutima kubanga oba olowooza ku marks z'onaafuna. Tukyabulaba ennyo.
Lecturers at Rugema University are keenly aware of the challenges their students face. They strive to create a supportive learning environment while maintaining academic standards.
Lecturer Elida Kabura. I'm teaching in journalism and mass communication. You ask me about how I perceive stresses undergone by students in terms of the course of working hard day and night. So if you give them a coursework and you give them a deadline, they must be stressed. You are given 2 weeks for maybe 4 topics to develop. Yet you have other works you are doing from other lecturers. For sure, students undergo stresses, but we know how we cope. We teach them to cope with such situation. Despite the challenges they meet, we try to give them time. Whether we add on for some students who didn't finish, some may get financial problems. They are unable to do the work because of different reasons, and not because of they are lazy, but because there are other factors preventing them from accomplishing the work. Students face different challenges in completing their coursework. For example, there are those who have financial problems. When you ask them to print the work, they say that they don't have money. Others are given deadline, but they cannot respect it because of different situations in which they are. Maybe there are some who need more time for those courseworks. But I have realized in my experience that if you are a lecturer and you don't sit with your students, you ask them how they are living the situation. How can you cooperate with them in terms of courseworks, in terms of the work you have? Because that is a common project you have. You have a lecture and you give a coursework to students. You must be sure there are factors which can prevent them from finishing their work. That's the reason why you need to sit with them and ask them about each and every problem that they are encountering. That's the only solution I see which can reduce stresses among students, in my experience. With the students who are struggling with their courseworks, it is what I was telling you. I sit with them, I ask them if they are able to print, if they are able to finish the courseworks they are given within the time which is given, if they can respect the deadline, and I ask them the problems they are encountering. If I see that a student really is giving good reasons, I just allow him to do the way he sees can be easy for him. Some students have financial problems. Others say no, we have other courseworks given by other lecturers, so can you give us time? Can you add on some days to get the work finished? Those are things you need to sit with them and discuss. If you don't discuss and they force, automatically challenges must be there. We have realized that students, as the more you interact with them about different issues, about the problems they are encountering, the more for sure stresses diminish. So they are reduced because you need also to do counseling sometimes when you are in class. You may teach students who are having different problems, maybe family problems, maybe social problems, and all those are the factors you must take into consideration to be sure the student is studying in a good mood.
Experts in the field of psychology shed light on the profound effects of stress on students and faculty. Their research provides valuable insights into the mechanism of stress and its impact on academic performance. According to Dr. Henry Sekamate from Bugema Hospital, stress can have both long-term and short-term effects on individuals. Stress can manifest in physical symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, and muscle tension. Long-term exposure to stress hormones can weaken an immune system and...
My name is Sekamate Henry. I work at Bugema University Hospital. Stress depicts in different ways, and what we are talking about today, there are two ways in which we can respond, or how we respond to stress. We have the psychological responses, and then we have the physiological responses. Now coming to the psychological responses, I think they affect our mental health, basically concerning about the mental health. Then when we talk about the physiological, that's the word itself, physio. It's to do with the body, the functioning of our body entirely. Maybe to talk about the psychological stressors or stimuli. These are things that affect your wellness of the brain or the state of the mind, and you find yourself into a state where you're not maybe thinking well, or maybe you're very anxious. Anxiety is one of the psychological responses of psychological stress. The physiological, just as we have said, it's those stimuli that affect the body, the functioning of the body. We can talk of the physical traumas, the injuries, the accidents. You talk of anything that can exert pain on the body, that can cause the physiological stress. Do individuals recognize or how do they recognize that they're experiencing different levels of stress? The question itself about levels of stress, we basically have like 3 levels of stress. We have mild, and normally this is you may not recognize that you're actually stressed, but the environment and the people you're working with, or the people you're relating with or associating with, can notice that this one might be experiencing some stress. Then the moderate is now a bit higher, where yourself you feel that uneasiness in yourself. You can feel it before someone else tells you that, hey, you look stressed. Then there's the severe stress. This is the worst, because at that point there are a number of ways that you can see it. There's loss of appetite, loss of weight, okay. There's of course you can experience illnesses, falling sick, because you have a suppressed immunity at that point, and that at times can even lead you into depression. Yeah, so that is the worst, and where when you get to that point, you need to seek for medical or health work to help you. It may be hard for you to manage it as an individual. The advice to maybe people who are expressing stress, it may not be we may not incline it to only coursework. Coursework is one of the stressors, but there are a number of them that cause stress. For instance, that is one of them, especially to maybe a student. Student may be stressed about the coursework and all that. Then other stressors, like maybe this can be internal or external. Okay, but that one, I think it is an external stimuli or stressor. Coursework is external, and the other externals we know it can be an environment, it can be work, it can be family, it can be school itself. Generally, school can be stressor. Relationships, those are external stressors, and I think that is where coursework falls under external stressors. Internally, these are personal. They are from within. You're thinking there can be a cognitive kind of issue. Starts from how you interpret. It can be out of a challenge, you're challenged. It can be a demand, you're demanding something. It can be maybe shame. You've done something, you have done an act and it's causing shame. So you're going to become stressed about that, and all the time you're thinking about that thing. How did I do this? And it becomes a stressing factor. So now coming to the advice you can give, especially now to a friend of mine who is stressed about coursework. In managing stress, there is what we call the 5 A's of managing stress management. One of them is the avoidance. You avoid. If you see something stressing you and you can avoid, you avoid. But would that really be an advice that you can give someone to avoid coursework? I think that is out. You cannot advise someone to avoid what? Avoid coursework. Then two, there is acceptance, and I think that one would really be a good advice. You tell your friend, or if it is you yourself, you have to accept, because it is the season, and it is short-lived. After the coursework, that stress will go away. So you advise a friend to accept, and then you have to adopt that this is the system. If you don't do coursework here, you're going to pass the finals. So if you want to pass the finals, you just have to accept, do the coursework, and then you get the good grades that you want. That is another stress management element, which is acceptance. Then another one is I've talked about it, which is adaptability. You adopt. That is, you have to adapt to the system. Our system, if you want to graduate, or our system, if you want to get good grades, you must have done coursework. Then you have to adopt. Okay? Then activeness. You need to be active. Of course, now when you don't participate activeness here, you must participate in discussions with friends. You must attend classes. You must do personalization. That is the activeness we're talking about. That is someone who is here. You're giving advice to that person. I know even revising itself is stressing. Attending discussions again, it is stressing. You take spending sleepless nights. It is also another kind of stressor. But now you have to accept and adopt. Period. You're not going to alter because that is your future. Okay. Maybe there are some tips. Of course, those are the standard. But there are other ways of maybe coping up. This is what I'm going through. This is what is stressing me. And then when you accept, you can still manage after accepting, because you can accept and it still follows you. Yes, I have accepted, but it is still following me. How can I further manage this? There are those things that you love doing. If you are maybe there are your hobbies, You can maybe have a walk. You can maybe go for those things that you love doing, that when you do them, they relieve that stress from you. Okay? Because even after accepting or adapting, this stress might continue following. But maybe if you change the environment, maybe you have been reading from the library, then you go and read with friends, you go and change the reading environment, maybe those things, they can help you cope up and manage that kind of stress. Okay, that is to a student. But now there are other things that you can completely avoid. If you are maybe having, especially the external or internal, because some of the external you have no control over them, and that's where you need to just accept. You have lost a loved one. You do not have control over that, and it is something that is going to stress you, and it might even lead into a chronic stress. You get. But now with that one, you just need to accept. I have lost my dad. It is something big that it will haunt you for some time. But you advise such a person to accept, adapt, and then live on. You get. Relationships. If you are in a stressing relationship, that's what you can avoid. You get. That is a way of avoiding. You can advise your friend or yourself. You advise also. So now this relationship is really stressing me, and with the effects of the stress, I may not continue with what with this kind of relationship. When you decide to what to avoid, you avoid that relationship. You alter it. What else? I think that is those are some of the ways. Some of the I've not exhausted them. But there are some of the ways how you can manage stress, and those are the advices you can give to people who are maybe going through stress. If you really see that someone is stressed over something that they have no control, please try to advise them to accept. Let them go into acceptance and try to just adapt. Because by continuing to worry about it, it will affect you the more. And then you will go into depression, which is the worst of what? Of stress.
Through the voice of the expert, we gain a deeper understanding of the complexities, stress, and its implications for academic communities. Their insights inspire us to rethink how we approach stress management in educational settings.
The current education system, how it contributes to students' stress levels. This is highly subjective in one way or the other, because there are some of us that are enjoying it, and there are others that are really badly stressed with the current education system. But of course, there are things to do with the changes in the education system. And the word change is something that does not just happen overnight or in a night. It takes time. But in a struggle to cope up with the current changes and the adjustments in the education system, you find that some are really stressed and others are enjoying the education system. For instance, these days we are going digital. We are going digital. The lectures have been digitalized. They are online. You don't physically meet your lecturers for some good time, like quite a time. You don't have the physical interactions with your colleagues most of the time, and that can create stress, because it's about how you interpret. It's about your expectations. When you expect to go to class, as the lecturer is maybe lecturing, explain the concepts, you are face to face there in a physical class, but you are online where internet is very poor. you're having network problems, challenges, the intermittent kind of, you're not following constantly. And that is going to affect your education, your performance as a student. And your expectations will be actually, you will be disappointed. And that can lead to the low self-esteem of maybe the performance. How will I really present my papers? How am I going to now tell my mom or my dad, my sponsors, that I'm not performing well? Because it is a system you're not used to, but we must get used. We must get used because it is now the current education system. And despite the difficulties, and it is also good because it is saving us a lot of things on time, even some expenses. Maybe you travel to school, you keep traveling, you just have to sit home and then attend the class. So we need to just accept. Okay, yeah. We need to go into acceptance that is part of us, and then we just try to manage and find ways of how to literally manage the stress that comes with the current education system.
As we conclude our journey through the world of Udema University, one thing is clear. Coursework stress is a complex issue that requires attention and understanding. By working together, students, faculty, and university staff can create a more supportive academic environment.